Hey, how's the preparation been going here for a big game on Sunday against Tampa Bay?
Yeah, it's good. Obviously, came in, watched the film from last game. Obviously, the weather and everything, the situations that played into it. Obviously, there's a lot of things that we can clean up, a lot of things that we can be better at, and come out that game. Not saying we weren't happy, obviously, because we got a win, but obviously, there's a lot of things we can clean up and be better at. And then coming back to our home, back to Mercedes-Benz against a division team. It's going to be a huge game for us. We went down there and came out there with the win. We felt like we left a lot of meat on the bone, when we were down there. We just want to put in that same work, same energy to be able to go out here on Sunday and be able to put on a good performance.
What are some of the characteristics of their defense? They'll be your third time playing them, and Coach said they probably held back some stuff from the last game. But what do you see when you look at Tampa's defense? Those guys are out. But.
Yeah, like you said, you got some guys banged up. It's week 14, so who's not banged up around the league? But they do a great job of just kind of Rolodexing the coverages, confusing the quarterback, just making, those safeties play all over the place. And then they also do a great job in the back end of just being sticky with the guys and staying on them, making the quarterback hold it for just a tick longer. But as long as we're able to do what we do, be able to play fast, play clean, we should be able to go out there and do our thing.
Has it helped you that so many of the skill position guys you're throwing to are kind of in the same spot as you, 1, 2, 3 years in the league? Is there a benefit to that?
Sure. I guess I couldn't tell you the other way because I haven't been in the league a long way. So, yeah.
I just wasn't sure whether that was something you felt because obviously it's different in college when you got freshman. But there's still that level of kind of.
Yeah, you just look at it as there's going to be mistakes. There's going to be learning periods of not only from yourself but everyone, and you just like we say all the time, you just try to never make those same mistakes twice. If we're talking, I'll talk in the receiver room because there's multiple guys out there at a time, but you got one guy that makes a mistake. You can't be the other guy that makes that same mistake that he did. So it's not only just on yourself, but learning from the mistakes of other guys as well.
Is it fair to say, because you mentioned about how at week 14 and everyone's banged up, but do you feel maybe a little bit fresher than others just because you had some time to kind of look, and how is that helping you now, I guess, in this win streak?
Yeah, I guess you could say I got a little 3-week bye week or whatever it may have been. I feel good, ready to go. Body feels great. It's just going to be able to go out there and go play.
How important is it, because we all talk about streaks and win streaks, and how important is it for you guys just confidence-wise to be able to get 3 wins and just to remain dominant in the division?
Yeah, like I talked about after the game, last week's goal was obviously to get that win, and that would improve us to, a 2-win streak or whatever you want to call it that we haven't done since the first 2 weeks. So now we're in a situation that we've never been in before. Well, I guess we've been in once, but obviously didn't take advantage of the opportunity, and that's to go stack 3. It's not necessarily about the streak, but about getting the next one. It just so happens to be that it's a division opponent. Obviously a game that means a lot. Anytime you're playing meaningful games in December, you're doing something right. So being able to go out here against a division opponent in December where a game means a lot, it's huge for us.
How does it feel different, I guess, even compared to last year? Obviously, you only played 4 games, but when you're playing for meaningful football, right? When you're playing to win a division, I guess, how does it feel different, more playoff atmosphere every single time, more pressure, or not at all?
No, like I said, I think, sometimes, a lot of people make the moment too big. But if we look at it as just the next game, look at it as just going 1-0, no matter who your opponent is or whatever, because at the end of the day, you got to be worried about what they do, but, at the end of the day, you got to worry about, what you do and what you do well. Because if you're doing what you do well, it's tough for a defense to stop you.
McCole Pruitt, you were able to get him some balls last year and were able to find him Sunday. What does he bring to the offense?
Excuse me. He's just a different energy. And, when I say that, sometimes it's not the rah-rah type of energy. But, when he gets a ball in his hands, he goes and makes a play. Coach always jokes around about, finding 85, figuring out where he is on the field because, it just seems to be that when he gets it in, good things happen.
As you said, if you're doing what you're doing well, it shouldn't matter what the defense does. I wonder if you're speaking specifically of this team and this unit, or generally as an offensive player, do you think if we hit all of our marks, it shouldn't matter what they do? Our thing should beat their thing.
Yeah, you got talent level players, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, at the end of the day, you obviously, like I said, you got to worry about the defense for a little bit for different certain looks and this and that. But at the end of the day, everyone's out there, all 11 on offense are focused on their job, and every single person on that field is doing their job and their job only. Then the execution of the offense should be at a better point. Now, like we said, there's going to be wrinkles. They're going to throw a pressure at you. Something's not going to go right. One guy's going to maybe take a slow step or whatever it may have been, and it can ruin the whole play. And then that's when the defense has an advantage. So it really takes all 11 guys being in sync, in tune with each other to be able to go out there and execute at a high level.
Curious, to learn to carry the ball in your outside arm, is that something something as soon as you saw it, I have to do it and I'll switch, or did it take drilling, or how did that?
No, I mean, that's something that, we growing up, that's like, one of the basic fundamentals. You run into the left, you put it in your left arm. You run on the right, you put it on your outside arm. And then obviously you get in there in game and, you go back to the last year, earlier this year, Tampa, down in the red zone where I fumbled right going across because I had it in my right arm. There I was going to throw and pulled it down. And, you just get into the game and, you obviously try to make it second nature, but, it just popped in my right arm. But, yeah, I mean, from obviously a quarterback's perspective, you're not thinking about that every day because, some guys are pocket passers and never get to scramble. Other guys, scramble all the time. But, as a running back and a receiver, those are key emphasis and points that are hit every single day.
How much do you look back at the tape from Tampa in Week 7 to where you are now, and just seeing the growth? And are you, I don't know, do you cringe at what you were then to where you are now type of thing, just seeing the growth of where you're at?
Yeah, I mean, it's only been, 7 weeks. So, I mean, yeah, there is growth, and there's still a lot of things that we can be better at. But, it's not like we're saying, it's 365 days.
And how much will it help you also just having, I know Bajan was dealing with the health or something, headaches at that time, but how much is it going to be to have him helping out against Tampa?
Yeah, it's huge, just as he is just a huge part of our offense every single other week. Just be able to have him out there, be able to, make the defense have to worry about another guy, whether they got to worry about Drake, Red, Kyle, it doesn't matter who it is, Jonnu. Just make those guys communicate, make them, think just an extra second.
Because when you've got a couple offensive linemen who appear to be questionable going in this week, especially the center position, does that change the way that you prepare at all? I don't know how many reps you typically take with news during the week, during weeks or whatever, but just in terms of snaps, I know that Coach always says there's a lot they put on Drew's plate, if it just kind of changes anything.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, obviously, it's week 14, there are a lot of guys banged up, so we'll see how it plays out, obviously, throughout the week, but Newsel does a great job of preparing, just as he's a starter. Like you said, don't get many reps with him throughout the week. But, as of last year and earlier this year, I was taking scout team reps. So we get plenty of reps there. And then, like I said, too, in the meeting rooms, it's try not to, if you got a big differential between your starter and your backup, then, you're probably not doing something right in the room. So they do a great job of always staying on the same page. News does a great job of staying on top of the game plan, on top of the reads, where he's supposed to mic ID, what he's supposed to do. So, it should be pretty fluid through there.
Did you go back and watch the fumble?
Yeah.
You do? So you go back this week and watch it?
Yeah, I mean, you just go back and rewatch the game again there.
Well, I just wasn't sure whether you, do you, viscerally react when you see it, considering what, kind of what was going on in that stretch for you, or?
Yeah, I mean, there's, we always talk about it. It's you watch film a couple different ways. The first time you watch it on that Sunday night right after the game, you're kind of just buzzing it to, those 1 or 2 or 3 plays that kind of stick out in your head. And then, on Monday when you go back and watch it, you see a couple different things. And then, by the third or fourth time you're watching it, you're either watching for a defensive scheme, what we did offensively. And so, going back and watching it, months down the road, obviously, you know that you made the mistake. You know exactly when it's coming, when it happens. But now it's, what could you have done before that to prevent that? How could you have, not even putting yourself in that situation? Rather than, thinking all negative or being all sad about it, you can't do nothing about it that happened 7 weeks ago. The only thing you can do about it is go get better for the coming weeks.
I wasn't sure whether there was something that you're I'm going to fast forward to that.
I'm curious though, when I remember talking about one of the games you had already watched, I think once or twice the film, after a tough loss. So after a win, I can give myself a break, or are you still watching the whole fight?
No, I still gotta watch it right after the game. Just because, like I said, just because you win, there's still 2, 3, 4 plays in there that either you want to have back or you didn't see some and you want to see what had happened. And so, yeah, you always just you can't go to sleep on Sunday night without watching the game.
The defense has done well for you, giving you some margin the last couple weeks in particular, not giving him any touchdowns. And obviously, I know every time you go out there, you want to score as many points as you can, but do you kind of feel urgency of like, we know that that's not always going to happen, and we got to be more productive than we have been?
Yeah, of course. That's a challenge all the time. Of course, we've had a great defense this year. Came up for us huge in multiple games, and our challenge is offensive. Hey, don't make it about the defense. Let's go win a game on offense. Let's go put so many points up on the board that our defense can take a step back, or not have to worry about that third down stop or whatever it may be. But it's a team game. There's three sides of the ball: offense, defense, and special teams, and so you got to play off one another. And like we said, we're gonna get there.
Did you kind of take care of all that in the locker room on Sunday while you were sitting there for hours?
Oh, yeah, it was a great bonding experience on Sunday. I'll tell you that much.
I can't tell if that's true sarcasm or.
No, I mean, it's professional football. Sometimes you got to control what you can control. Obviously, a plane engine is not what we can control.
In all seriousness, did that set back your week at all? Because like you said, you take care of certain things on Sunday, and then you guys didn't get back till super late on Monday.
Yeah, it didn't switch up much things for us.
As a quarterback, you're processing information all the time, but yet you also talk about wanting to just go out and play. So how do you integrate that? And what's been the journey for you in integrating that to do both at the same time all the time?
Yeah, it's a fine line, but I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to preparation. You kind of worry about all that stuff throughout the week of, what they're going to bring or what they're going to do, and then you get out there, and like I said with Josh, as long as you know where the ball's going to go against, a certain look, or if you're hot on a pressure, where your hot outlets, where's the quickest way to get the ball out of my hand, then you beat the defense. That's how you play fast, is just knowing what to do and where to go when those situations arise.
Yeah, Des, what makes Anton Winfield Jr. so good?
Yeah, I mean, he does a great job, obviously, of reading the quarterback's eyes, being where he's really, being expecting to be where the quarterback's not expecting him to be at. Like I said, they do a great job of Rolodexing kind of the coverages, showing different looks, bringing them down in the box, blitzing them, bringing them down in the box, dropping out to cover two. So they do a lot of different disguises. He's one of their heart and souls on that defense, and, a lot of energy runs through him, and he's been a great guy for them to have. And he's just a player, a hard player, and goes.
Anything else?
Curious, as a quarterback who played in the college football playoff, do you have an opinion about what happened with Florida State?
Yeah, all I could say is that, some teams, such as Cincinnati, might have put it together, years in advance and kind of stacked those, undefeated seasons and one-loss seasons in years. So, I mean, hey, all you could say is, do it again next year, Florida State.
Anything else? All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, Coach, to discuss paying for a player like Mike Evans. So just put together his 10th 1,000-yard season.
Yeah, he's putting together a Hall of Fame career. You look at a guy like that, and you've been in the league 10 years, and you got 1,000 yards, and I think it's only one or two other receivers have done that. And biggest thing we got to do is, we got to make sure we got eyes on him. I mean, he's a good receiver, and we got to make sure we keep the top on top of him and not let him get behind us. I know we did it a couple of times first game, but we got to be more of attentive and understanding who he is and what he's about. And you could kind of see the last 3 or 4 games he's kind of come on strong.
And how's Baker Mayfield been playing as he gets deeper into that offense?
Well, to me, I think he's doing a really good job. He gets his reads. He understands where he's going. We know his go-to guy is Mike Evans, but he's still spreading the ball around. And he's doing a really good job of doing that. Again, I earlier they were kind of, you could tell they were kind of a little bit more vanilla, just trying to get used to the game. But now you could tell he's got complete control of it.
And how did Clark Phillips do in his extended play outside last week?
I thought he did a great job. Again, a lot of times we kind of talk about the young guys really not really playing on the field, but they're actually practicing against our first team offense every week, every day. So they go out there, and you can see right now it was time for Clark. Hey, look, the curtains opened up, AJ went down, time for you to step up, and I thought he did a great job.
You mentioned AJ. Seems like you won't know whether you're going to have him probably until later in the week.
Yeah, I mean,
how does that handle maybe when you're dealing with Evans and Godwin and kind of trying to figure out that secondary?
Well, the first thing you do is, you get the other guys ready to go. I mean, you can't sit here and wait. We got to practice today. So, again, I know Arthur's going to talk about AJ and stuff like that, but me as a coach, I got to get the other guys ready to go. We can't sit here and say, hey, well, we hope, and then all of a sudden it doesn't happen. The other guys got to be next man up. Of course, do we want AJ? Of course we do. I mean, he's one of our best corners. But if he can't go, the next guy have to have his mindset ready to go against Mike Evans and Godwin and all the other guys.
In terms of how you guys played last week, you used more free safety last week. Is that what you're looking for going forward, or is that more maybe matchup driven based off of what
to me, it was something that we kind of getting some more players on the football field and, trying to see what's best for our guys and putting them in a position to win. And, you can kind of see all of a sudden Richie's having a bigger role closer down the line of scrimmage. You got DeMarco up. You still got Jesse. So that allows us to play more of a package that we can play against anybody and give us a chance to, match up better also if they're going with certain packages on offense.
I think Derek Carr indicated that he didn't expect Jesse to be where he was on the pick six. He thought he sort of knew your rules, knew where this guy was supposed to be, and he wasn't there. I wonder if there's some, if safeties freelance, if you allow your safeties to freelance some, because that adds that type of value, or if that was just a misread by Carr.
I just seen Jesse get an interception.
Right.
And like, hey, if you're looking over there and you're throwing the ball over there and you got a guy that can go get the ball, go get it. I think a lot of good football players do that. And, sometimes they're expecting us to be a robot, to be in the middle of the field and don't move and don't do any of that stuff. But we don't set their rules, so why are we going to let them set ours? Yeah. Biggest thing we want to do is we want to go out there and play football. And if your rules allow you to make some plays, go make plays. We're not telling him not to, hey, go do this, go jump that. And we understand that there's some cost to it. But at the end of the day, when the game is on the line, Jesse is going to be right more than he is wrong.
I would assume you handle players differently based on their level of experience, based on their history of production, and in terms of how much freedom you want them to take in those situations.
So here's the thing I tell guys. And I said, hey, look, if you're a pilot and you're flying a plane, don't wreck the plane because everybody else is counting on you. So don't wreck the plane. Take it however way you want to. Don't wreck the plane.
Don't wreck the plane.
So you got some freedom, but don't wreck the plane.
How do guys know? I mean, what's the secret sauce of guys who know how to do that well and guys who wreck the plane?
Practice. And then all of a sudden, if I see a guy who can't handle practice, he's going to have to be a co-pilot. And other guys going out there and doing that. I mean, again, you have to be able to practice and let the guys do it and expand and see if they can handle stuff. And that's how, as coaches, in my mind, I want to see you make a mistake. I want to see you take some chances. I want to see you do that. So now when you get in the game, that's not the first time you try something like that. Because if it is, you're probably not going to be good at it. So it's just little things that we get in practice that we can let guys do and not do.
If you see a guy break a rule, do you ask him why? Do you say, why? What did you see? Walk me through that.
Yeah, because what happens is I want to know what he's seen. I don't know what he's doing out on the practice field. So once I figure that out, hey, tell me what you've seen, what made you do that. And now we could possibly get on the same page because sometimes he may have a read that's better than what we're teaching.
Right.
So now that player can teach us something as coaching staff. And, that's kind of what we want. We don't want guys robots. I don't want a highway cone you could throw out there and, hey, everybody wants all-pro guys. Trust me, give me 11 of them and we'll be really good. You don't have that. So now you got to figure out what the other guys can do and what they can't do. And then, some good football players always show up and make plays sometime.
In basketball, shooters often get talked about green light. They know exactly what that green light looks like. I guess that's similar to the plane. Like, will you go to a guy like Jesse and say, hey, you have more green light here than maybe DeMarco does or whatever? Like, is it delineated to them, or is that kind of you kind of see what happens?
No, you kind of see what happens, and then you can kind of tell the young guys want more freedom, because I've seen DeMarco kind of do some stuff in practice, and I'm like, hey, why'd you see that, or why'd you do that? And he was like, well, I seen Jesse. I'm like, well, yeah, I know you seen Jesse, but you didn't ask Jesse why'd he do that. So you can't just try to do something that you see somebody else do. But the thing is, I don't want to restrict them from being creative either. Because good football players, I mean, you can do some things, and you're like, man, that guy made a great play. And you know what? That wasn't coaches. It was just him. And that's what happens sometimes when you're a good football player. And then when sometimes coaches get scared and they put you in this box, and the guys never make plays. And it's like he's always fighting to get out. And the good football players are going to always figure it out.
After Grady went out, the next couple of games, it seemed like run defense was suffering a little bit, and I think that was probably part of it. The last 2 games, defense as a whole, things just turned things around. I'm curious, if you put your finger on a couple things, what do you think is happening that's enabling the guys without him to play better?
Well, to me, I think when those guys lose a guy like Grady, it's hard to replace, and we're trying to figure it out. Hey, who's going to be the next guy? Who's going to be the next guy? And then all of a sudden, you need 2 guys to assume his role. And then once the guys got comfortable, like, hey, I'm a starter in the NFL, then all of a sudden you see the run game picks back up, because it's always like that. The young guys have to be prepared to step up, and then sometimes they're not prepared, and it kind of hurts you on Sunday. But once they get really prepared about what they should be doing, they see themselves as a starter. And you say the next play could be starting, but they don't think that until they actually get out there.
What happens if a guy decides to crash land during a game? Do you pull him out and say, like, what I mean, like, or do you only let them kind of do that in practice and hope they don't do that during a game?
Well, I let them do it in practice, and then I know they won't do it in the game, because they know the consequence is a lot higher in the game than it is in practice, because there's really, I can control the practice, but I can't control the game. And that's one thing that I'm always conscious of. If I see a guy kind of start doing some things, I'll pull him to the side and say, hey, I watch you on that other series. Hey, watch yourself here, before he gets too far off the rails.
Jerry, on this theme of taking all these reps and improving, developing, with Clark, I'm curious, for you, having seen him, and any rookie generally, but especially a player with kind of unique characteristics like Clark, if it's changed, if you've had to reevaluate where you see him, how he can be best utilized.
Well, like when I was talking to Clark, you talk to him, like, hey, you got to stay in it mentally, you got to do this, and you always kind of massaging young guys when they're not in, because he wants to play. Coach, I want to play, and I'm telling him, I said, there's a difference between playing in the NFL and winning in the NFL when you play. But some guys don't understand that. They think I'm playing, and then you get beat or you lose a game, and they need to flip their brain to say, I want to play to win. And now you got to put miles on it, and time on time. So when he got his chance, now he's playing to win, not just go out there and, hey, call my buddy, hey, did you see me play? But that's different, though. You don't want to just have young guys playing. You want them playing to win. And to me, that's a big difference.
How do you tell whether a guy's ready for that?
I always look at practice. I like young guys, even older guys. Like, you get older guys when you watch training camp, and you see them competing against our starters. But then the young guys kind of take all the reps, right, on scout team. And I look and see, can he compete against Drake? Can he compete against this guy? What about that guy? So I'm always watching. Even though they don't think I'm watching what are you doing when you go against our guys? And I know you're running other team cards, but you still can compete. So now you're telling me what you're going to do when I put you in there now, because it doesn't change. So now if they make plays in practice, well, guess what? It made another week. So that guy's getting ready. He's getting ready. And then when it's time for him to go play, he'll go play. But if he's not ready in practice, he's never going to be ready in the game.
Anything else?
It was Tennessee. They ran a double move and got in the end zone. I think it was maybe Arizona or.
Yeah, Arizona.
Yeah.
No, it was Tennessee and.
Minnesota?
No, Minnesota didn't. It was one other team that ran the double move.
Right. But
Yeah.
Have other teams tried that and you?
Yeah, we had it last week. They tried it 2 times last week. It was like a move that they think we play single high, so they take one receiver and run one way and then go back the other way. And so we kind of you really want to cover it, and we were close on the first time, and we covered it the second time. So when teams know that you've corrected your mistakes, they'll go to the next play. But every, again, a lot of times we know it's a copycat league, so they want to beat you on something that you see if you fix it, and of course we're gonna fix it and try to fix it on during the week.
Hey, congratulations, Bradley.
Thank you.
What was it like when you got the news there?
It was a surreal moment, the way the team did it, surprising me like that. It'd be pretty common for me to go in there and do a interview about Koo making game-winning field goals, because that's how good Koo is. So they got me good. It was a surreal moment, something that I'll cherish for the rest of my life for sure, and just having all the coaches and some of the teammates in there to congratulate me and everything afterwards. It was had to hold back tears, especially after I saw the 2 sponsored children on the board or on the screen. It was definitely something where I was fighting back tears.
And your charity, can you walk us through that again? The punt for
Punts for Purpose. This is the logo on my hat. So every punt down inside the 20. This year, me and my wife are donating $1,000 to Compassion International. There's, I think, 4 or 5 other punters doing it for the whole year with me. And then actually this week, it kind of timed up pretty well. This week, there's 13 other punters around the NFL doing it. So this week is the Punts for Purpose week. We're trying to raise as much money as we can for Compassion International Fight for First program. What the Fight for First program is it gets moms and babies. So it takes moms while they're pregnant and kind of helps them through that whole process with medical needs and just the care that they need. And then it takes babies from the time they're born to a year old until they can get into one of Compassion centers. There's 4 million kids that die every year before they're 1 year old. 1 million of those are on their day they're born. And then there's 830 moms that die during childbirth a year. So we're just trying to combat those numbers and do everything we can to make a positive impact with the platform God's given us.
That's in Tanzania.
That's across the world.
Across the world.
Yeah, across the world. Tanzania is where me and my wife have 2 centers and 2 survival programs. We started those last year with Compassion. So Tanzania is kind of near and dear to our hearts. It's where we got a chance to go this past off season on a mission trip and spend, I think it was like 7 days over there. And that's kind of what spearheaded all this to start with anyways. We wanted to do more than what we were doing. Just donating money wasn't enough. We wanted other people to know what's out there, know the problems, and know how to combat it and know how to fight it and hopefully make a difference.
So there are 4 punters who have joined you for the whole season,
Yeah.
and 13 who will do
13
it
this week. Yeah, this week. So we kind of did like a holiday game where it was around the holidays, kind of the giving back spirit, where there's, like I said, I think it's 13 around the whole league this year. And then there's 5 others that are doing it for the whole year. The monetary amounts are different for everybody. Everybody's in a different financial situation.
Right.
But that's this week. So we're really hoping it catches fire and raises a good bit of money.
How does it feel that other guys are joining in and helping you out with this?
It's super humbling, honestly. This was just an idea. Honestly, got to give credit to my wife that my wife kind of had. I've done something similar in the past with touchbacks on kickoffs, and we want to do something with punts and trying to make punt a good thing. And usually when you pin it inside the 20, it's a pretty good thing. So it's very humbling that guys would even consider to be involved, yet alone donate their own time, efforts, and money to be involved. So it's super humbling, and I'm really appreciative of those guys that are getting involved.
What was it? You kind of busy on Sunday there.
Yeah, I mean, just doing my job when the team needs me like that, to be able to make a difference and pin the team back. It's what they signed me for. It's what my job is. So I don't take it as busy. I take it as do it as my job and helping the team in any way I can.
And what's the art to getting those balls down inside the 20?
Depends on where we are on the field, honestly. Sometimes you got to hit an end-over-end punt. Sometimes you're spiraling, putting it out of bounds. Just depends on the situation. And whatever the team needs me to do, I'm here to do it.
And then in the conditions, how do you adjust for those when it's messy like that, a little green?
So I don't adjust to the conditions, so the conditions make me.
Okay.
That's kind of my philosophy, and that way I don't go in trying to guess what the conditions are going to be. I get out there and warm ups and see if my conditions are going to make me do something different. A lot of times if it's windy or rainy, you got to lower your drop a little bit. Just to make better contact with the ball. But luckily it wasn't really raining too hard. It was raining, kind of an annoying rain more than anything.
Right.
But the wind wasn't a huge factor. So I really didn't have to change too much, which really allowed me to go out there and just play my game.
What are some of the challenges going up against these guys, offensively, Evans and Godwin, and defending them?
Well, I mean, it's the second time around, so they're going to have some stuff up their sleeve, you know what I mean? It's always hard to beat a team twice. They'll be well prepared, but Mike Evans, he's been balling the last couple of weeks. He always been a force, and number 1 stepped up. White stepped up a little bit more in the run game, and they get him the ball a little more. But like I said, it's hard to beat a team twice, so they'll be prepared.
Y'all haven't allowed a touchdown in 2 games. What goes into like the mental endurance to not allow that, especially with those red zone plays?
I think it's just a all-around effort. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure everybody on defense played last week, and that's what it takes. But everybody got to have the same type of attitude. You know, if they don't score, they don't win. And try to force field goals when they get in the red zone. And it's really just about the attitude.
How do you all stay on the same page, especially at this point of the season?
Encouraging each other, making sure we prepare, you know, getting in here, getting the extra reps in, getting the extra film in together.
What are some keys in continuing to force turnovers?
Shit, have Jesse Bates on your team. I mean, bro, it's really like just being prepared. He's a hell of a player, and he's starting it off, you know what I mean, and we just feeding off of him.
Were you part of the boom celebration? I don't remember if you.
I was making my way over there, man. He threw the damn ball too early. I was trying to get over there, but I ain't get to get in there.
What went behind that? Did you guys rehearse that before or anything?
No, we just talked about it. You know what I mean? Just having a little fun.
This team hasn't won 3 games in a row. How would it be to get that 3rd one in a row against the division opponent?
An early Christmas present. You know what I mean? We know the stakes behind this game. You know, it's a lot riding behind this one. It's really another playoff game, so we got to come with it.
What do you see from Baker Mayfield on film?
Same thing with Mike Evans, ultimate competitor. He fires him up, so they're going to rally behind him. So we have to be ready to play at a high level on Sunday.
What are the keys to continuing to force turnovers?
Just working in at practice, being intentional about getting the ball out, whether that's through punch-outs, interceptions, and just making it a point of emphasis at the beginning of the week.
What did you make of Clark's play filling in for AJ last game, and with the cornerback situation a little bit up in the air heading into this game, how important is it for him to get reps?
I was extremely proud of him. Just he's someone that's been caught my eye since he first came out here, and just see him go out there, get us opportunity to play at a high level. I think if you ask anyone in the locker room, no one would be surprised by it.
Have you seen his confidence grow throughout the year? How have you seen him develop since you got there?
He's always been a confident individual, so I think that he's probably excited that he had a chance to display it to everyone on Sunday.